This is the Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Show at Triple Play Fantasy. We talk all things fantasy basketball. I'm your host, a proud Towson University alumni. Yes, the same school who put out the likes of San Antonio Spur, Gary Neal, the legend. It's gender reveal day over here at the Lewis household as my wife and I are expecting our first child.
Okay, man. Are you secretly hoping for a boy or a girl or what?
I'm ready for whatever.
All right, on.
I'm secretly wanting a boy, but we'll see.
I hear that.
I
I
feel
hear
like
that,
that's
man. That's honest.
I feel like that's every father's
Yeah,
idea. And
yeah, for
again,
sure.
I'm joined as always by a solid husband and father. He's also a distinguished writer for RotoWire, Fantasy Pros, New Life Fantasy, a staple here at Triple Play Fantasy at Ain't Done Yet. Jacob Dunn, Colorado Glad. What's up?
My man, we have officially reached week 13. Man, I just I'm pumped for this week, my man. It's already been 12 weeks and like I just feel like it's flown by even though it's been such a crazy season. So I'm pumped, dude.
It definitely has felt like it's flown by. We are past the halfway marker, and
Yes.
since we've confined the show and talked strictly fantasy, we're getting over 500 views a week. We're very thankful for that. For those of you who haven't caught a show yet, what we do here is Jacob and I go back and forth. We talk about under roster players, free agents, people you need to pick up, waiver wire selects, safe floor pickups, people to think about dropping. We also talk streams, daily pickups, as well as we take a look at the upcoming schedule. That plays a factor. And at the end of the show, we take a look at our player performance of the week. We got to give those players a shout out now. Jacob, to start, who are some of the top free agent pickups for Week 13? Again, we're using the percent rostered in Yahoo leagues as of Saturday morning, January 8th for this Week 13. And I think there's definitely a hot pickup that if you're not hip, he might be gone.
Yes, sir. That is Anfernee Simons, guys. Anfernee Simons has been on a roll. All right. Um, for the third straight game, Simons found himself in the starting lineup due to the absence of Damian Lillard, who's nursing an abdomen injury. And in those games, the 22-year-old is averaging 28.3 points, 7 assists, 5.3 threes, 2.3 boards, and a steal, while shooting a scorching 52.8% from the field. Sure, he could just be a short-term streamer for as long as Lillard is out, but you know Dame Time has been battling this abdomen issue since USA's gold medal run at the Tokyo Olympics and was shut down earlier in this season for 10 days to rest. So, look, we've seen what Simons can do when he has this backcourt all to himself. So, add him for the short term. Then, or if Dame comes back, stash him as Dame's insurance policy, as Anfernee has a shot at becoming a league winner if Dame is forced to miss serious time with this injury.
Yeah, and if he's playing the way he has in this past week, then yeah, he is definitely a league winner type of pickup.
Yeah.
His epic performance right after his grandfather's passing of 43 points, hit
Ooh.
9 threes, 7 dimes, was just one of those epic moments that you kind of will never forget. And, Anfernee, named after Penny Hardaway, he's following in these footsteps. The kid is very, very skilled. We saw him win the dunk contest.
Yep.
And you just got to like his promising outlook as he just continues to grow. But the striking number that stuck out to me fantasy wise is that he's averaging 7 assists this week.
Mm-hmm.
So even in that game, he had 43. He had 7 dimes, and that's where you want to see him step up is in that playmaking. They give him the ball, and he's playing with confidence, and he's shooting at a very, very high clip.
Yep.
Speaking of guys that are shooting at a very high clip, my guy Malik Monk,
yes, sir,
who is 56% roster, so he won't be available in every single league. But this guy, out of anybody on the Los Angeles Lakers, it seems like he plays with LeBron James better than anyone else. He can really shoot it, and he can play make a little bit. So he gets in the lane, but obviously he's a flamethrower from deep. This past week, he averaged 25 points and almost 6 threes a game and got you a steal and a block. The last time we saw him against Atlanta, he had 29 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 3-pointers made, and 2 steals. So shout out Malik Monk, but he might not be the guy to pick up this week because the Lakers only have 2 games, and they're the only team with 2. Every other team in the league has 3 or 4 games this week, so you keep those things in mind. Carmelo's sometimes he's definitely a guy that floats in the free agents. And if the Lakers are playing 4 games, he's the guy to pick up. But Malik's playing so well that you might even want to grab and stash him for going forward because, again, we're trying to win you the leagues. Streamers, this is my streamer pick for the week. Hassan Whiteside just came out that Gobert is in protocols and is the first Utah Jazz to get that this season. But his per 36 minutes, 18 points, 15 boards, 3 blocks, 79% from the free throw line. So he's not going to kill you there this season, which is an improvement. He did have an underwhelming performance yesterday in his first start when he had 7 points, 7 rebounds, but he also had 2 blocks. So
that's right.
I pick him up for the week. It's a must. He could win you rebounds and blocks. And we've seen what he's done in the past for Miami or anywhere that he's getting extended minutes. So I don't see why you wouldn't pick him up. Maybe if you had Jalen Smith. I know he had 19 points and 14 rebounds yesterday, but I think that that run is gonna end sometime soon with Aiden and McGee coming back sometime soon.
The only reason that you wouldn't pick him up is just because of his free throw percentage. But if he's getting those blocks and those boards and that field goal percentage, like he's going to help you everywhere else. So I would definitely give him a look, especially with Gobert out.
Well, and 69% is his second highest of his career.
Yeah, decent.
So right. that's a promising number. And the guy that gets more blocks per minute than almost anybody that we've seen, he should get a look this week.
Yes.
Send it over your way.
All right, guys. In Strus, we trust. All right. With all the injuries, you like that?
I do.
With all the injuries and COVID issues in Miami, the third-year small forward has established himself as a reliable go-to scorer for the Heat. All right, Strus came back from a 4-game protocol absence last Wednesday and contributed with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and a career-high 5 assists. Before entering protocols, the 25-year-old was averaging 19 points, 5 boards, 4 threes, and 2.3 dimes in his previous 3 games, while averaging over 37 minutes. All right, head coach Eric Spoelstra has been starting Strus over Duncan Robinson, and I see him sticking in the starting lineup even when Jimmy Butler returns. Strus is a fantastic complementary player to Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, and he has proven that he can shoulder the load if called upon. All right, and for all of you Duncan Robinson managers out there, feel free to make the switch to Max Strus, because Strus will be the far more reliable and trustworthy fantasy option rest of season over Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame because Duncan Robinson was in that top 3 3-pointers made in like 2 of the last 3 years. But he's, Strus came for his spot, and he's being more productive from the 3-point line. And shout out Miami for always finding these gems like him and Gabe Vincent. And a safe guy for me is Caleb Martin. I told you to pick him up last week, but nobody got hit. 7% of the world did, but he's only 22% rostered. But like, he just fills up everything, shoots a high percentage. He gives you defensive categories. Last week, he averaged 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1.7 threes, 1.3 steals, 0.7 block. Like, that's kind of what you're going to get. Against Golden State, he had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 threes, 3 stocks. I love Caleb Martin. I like his versatility, and he can play in any lineup. He's a tough player. And for Miami, he's in the starting lineup, and he's playing, 30 minutes a game. So he is a safe guy, a guy that should be rostered way more than 22. And another safe guy, since we're on the safe tip, is your guy. He's out for a short-term injury with the groin. You have to watch that, but he's been producing.
Look, we've had Patrick Beverley on our safe list all season, but now is the time to add the veteran point guard in both 9-cat and points leagues. All right, before resting in Friday's game against the lowly Thunder, and yes, I do think he was just resting because the T-Wolves thought that they could easily beat the OKC Thunder. Beverley had been on a roll, averaging 13.5 points, 7.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 1.8 steals, and 1 block, so 2.8 stocks in his prior 4 games. All right, he always ends up on our safe list thanks to his stocks contributions, but Pat Bev is providing consistent points, dimes, and boards to go along with it. And the 33-year-old is a top-notch ad in all league formats. So add him and enjoy that safety and upside of the 10-year vet.
And we know that Jacob loves dimes, as I do myself. And they're hard to come by unless you got, Trae Young on your roster. And we'll talk a little bit about him later. A guy in his backcourt that is playing very productive basketball. A guy that's been picked up, been dropped, picked up and dropped. He has ebbs and flows, and Atlanta has had crushing injuries this year. This is the Maryland alum, Kevin Huerter, shooting guard, small forward, eligible. He's 40% rostered. Just last week alone, his stats, he was averaging 20, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 55% from the field, over 2 threes, close to a steal. In Sacramento, last time we saw him, he had 25 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Shout out Kevin Huerter. He's really earned that paycheck with his playoff performance last year. He plays very well with Trae Young, and he's a confidence player. When he's playing confidently, you got to ride the wave. So Kevin Huerter is a guy that should also be rostered, and definitely for the time being, from one, player that's hot. Another guy that when he gets it flowing, he is definitely a guy that one, you feel comfortable about picking him up because he'll produce at a high point per game average, and that's Terrence Ross. But you don't feel bad about dropping in once he has a low.
Right.
He will give you a 4-point game throughout a week, but then he'll also explode for like a 33 points, 5 rebounds, 4 3-pointers, 3 steals against Boston like he did this past week. And so this last week alone, he's just coming back off of the protocols. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 46% from the field, 2.3 threes, 1 steal. So Terrence Ross, these are guys that we're talking about picking up. The safety guy, PJ Tucker, just came back. In his last game, he had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. This guy's not going to win you a league. He's not going to win you a week, but he's got a safe floor, and he's a guy that is consistent as far as he's going to play heavy minutes when he is available.
Right. I was just going to say he always plays big minutes and seems to consistently contribute low-end points, rebounds, dimes, steals, and threes while shooting a healthy field goal percentage. So he is a nice guy to have at the end of your 9-cat bench.
Absolutely, and he's like a 1-1-1 guy, and I know that Jacob likes those guys that can produce.
Triple
there,
one,
not everybody can give you a 3, a block, and a steal.
It's true.
Got to watch number 1 guy, and a lot of us tuned in to watch Kyrie Irving come back. And hey, before I talk about Born Ready, Kyrie Irving in ESPN leagues, I've been stashing him all year, and I was waiting. I didn't activate him because I didn't know if he was going to stay activated, and I knew that his next 3 games were at home, which he wouldn't play. They let you play him, and then he goes back to IL eligible when he doesn't have another away game. Oh my goodness, I'm doing backflips because I'm already a top 2 seed there, and that might win me the league. And that's why I trusted in Kyrie. Now Yahoo, it's still not worth it because you're gonna get 1, 2. You might get lucky with a week where he plays extended games, but Kyrie Irving was a guy. If you took ESPN, you're in good luck. Lance Stephenson, though, go ahead.
Kyrie Irving is actually listed as out on Yahoo as well. So if you have that IL plus spot, then he's definitely worth it.
Absolutely. And guys that we are watching, Lance Stephenson, he went berserk in that game. He had 20 points in the first quarter. Like I feel like in the first 5 minutes, he got a standing ovation coming in back for the Indiana Pacers. He had got picked up by Atlanta last week and played. He was decent, but he exploded. And, of course, this is where he's played his most productive basketball in his career 10 years ago. But it's kind of these awesome moments that you're seeing with some of these unfortunate COVID protocol situations. He finished with 30, and he stole the, just the visual in the hearts of everybody. So if you haven't caught the highlights of that, you need to do that. But, Brooklyn is scary. Brooklyn is scary now that they have their pieces. Other guys that we are watching, Trey Lyles, he's starting for the Pistons. So Garza is now basically out of the rotation. I know that's based on matchups. He played a lot heavy minutes against Pearl, but Trey Lyles is just a little bit more versatile. He can hit the 3, but he can move on defense a little bit better. In the last week, he averages 13 points, 7 rebounds, give you a 3, almost a steal. Guy I'm watching, Nassir Little. I feel like every time I'm about to present him in the show, he has a dull. But in the past 3 games, he's averaging 34 minutes a game, giving you 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 threes, which is huge because, His three's been a little bit of a question coming into the league, but with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 3-pointers made against Atlanta this past week, Nassir Little should be on your radar. A guy that's returning again. And Jacob, we asked for it. We asked for it and begged for it. We didn't understand why he was only small forward eligible. He is power forward and center eligible now. JRE.
JRE, guys. This is by no means a ringing endorsement, but the rookie is starting and playing consistently between 22 to 25 minutes per game. All right. Before going on the protocol list, the rookie was averaging 10.4 points, 6 rebounds, and 1.6 threes over his previous 4 games. All right. So for those of you in deeper leagues, watch JRE, especially with that center eligibility. All right. That gives him more flexibility. And if you're in an especially deep league with 16 plus teams, I would definitely make the add if you need help in points, rebounds, and threes.
All right, 2 guys that I'm watching as D'Anthony Melton has come back. He's been, favored in a lot of people's pickups because his defensive production is almost, in the top 5 of the league. When on the season, he's averaging 1.6 steals and almost a block a game. He just came back yesterday, and he had, I think he played like 20 minutes, but he had 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 stocks. The stocks are why you want this player, but he's been producing in every way for a very, very fun, exciting Memphis Grizzlies team who's found themselves in the top 4 of the Western Conference, as well as a chill TJones. I mean, he's still in last week alone. I mean, everybody's back. Jaw's back. He's got 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. He's getting you a steal. He's getting you a 3, and he's I just love watching him play the game, and that's one of the reasons why they're so good, because they take Ja out and then they got this guy running the show. It's like they don't lose a step. So those 2 guys that you're watching, in particular, the Washington Wizards.
That's right, guys. Thomas Bryant. All right. According to Coach Wes Unseld, Thomas Bryant is 1 to 2 weeks away from being available. This is fantastic news because the Wizards have been quiet regarding Bryant's recovery from left knee surgery. When he returns, he will be a little bit limited, but we have seen this man's upside. All right, back in 2019, before tearing his ACL, the 24-year-old averaged 13.2 points, 7.2 boards, and 1.1 blocks across 46 games. All right, the upside is there, and he can make serious noise with the Wizards only having Daniel Gafford and Montrezl Harrell as center.
Yeah, and Gafford, he can't play the whole game. He doesn't have the wind for it, and we've seen the Wizards hurt a little bit with Trae being out, and who knows if Trae is on the trading line. But another guy that hasn't played a damn game, but he was unbelievable in the Olympics.
Yes.
You're watching him. I can feel like everybody's been kind of watching him.
Yes, man. Rui has cleared protocols, but is now working on his conditioning to get back into game shape. He has yet to appear in a game this season, but his return is imminent. And we should see him play 20 to 25 minute role right off the bat. He is good for points, rebounds, and your field goal percentage. I like him more in points leagues because he only contributes in 3 categories. But, if you are in a 9-cat league and need some help in field goal percentage, points, and rebounds, I would definitely give him a look.
Yeah, and I'm, as a Wizards fan and kind of being in the know about things, is we don't really know what the whole Rui situation has been all year. He's not been hurt this whole time. They're conditioning him to get back. Kind of been during the training camp, just away from the team. So it's a very odd mystery. And, who knows if the Wizards are getting phone calls on him. And Denny Ajvia has been playing very good basketball. Corey Kispert has been giving you good minutes. Kyle Kuzma has been damn good this year, and they're all playing the same position. So obviously you want Bertans to be gone, but Rui could be a trade piece for maybe somebody looking for a guy trying to take a third step, and maybe there's beef in the organization because they got people in the same position. I don't know. That's speculation, but you still want to have your eyes open for Rui. Somebody that's a little bit more safe is your third Wizard.
That's right, man. This has turned into a Wizards podcast, I guess. We're watching all the Washington Wizards, right? But KCP can be streaky at times throughout throughout the season, but he is starting for the Washington Wizards and always plays heavy minutes. All right. I can count on solid 3-and-D stats along with decent points, along with low end rebounds and assists. All right. He can be streaky, but he can also get hot. So I really like that. He's kind of like a Terrence Ross, where like he can go off one night and then be a dud the next, but he is at least consistent with threes and with steals. And, beggars can't be choosers in those deep 9-cat leagues. So I'm definitely watching him and adding him in those deeper leagues.
Player flexibility. He plays point, shooting guard, small forward, eligible. On this season, he's giving you 11 points, 4 rebounds, a couple assists, a couple threes, and 1.2. So that's a strong sample size. And his field goal percentage at 41.8. You can see that throughout the second half of the year, that's not his standard. It's going to go up. And against Houston, as they were battling against the Rockets, he had 26 points, hit 5 threes. So like Jacob pointed out, he got hot. And it's funny because Kevin Porter Jr., who just came off suspension, was having a terrible game, ended up getting the isolation on Neto for the game winner, which it seems like the Wizards play in the most close games this entire year. I want to actually find the stats on that, but they at the beginning of the year they were winning all of them. It seems like more recently they have been losing them, and we just saw DeMar DeRozan also hit a game winner on us.
What a dagger, dude! Oh man, in the face of 2 Wizards, that was tough.
And if he didn't go back to back Saturday and Sunday, he would have been our player of the week this week.
Sure.
One last guy I want to throw out there is Cedi Osman for Cleveland. Of course, Rubio Sexton out for the year. He just came back and had 14 points, 4 threes. He's putting them up these days. He's not that same role player, LeBron James last year, and he gets you steals. So he's definitely a guy. Cedi Osman is a guy to watch with Cleveland, looking for some offense production. But our player of the week this week. Holy moly. Trae freaking Young. I mean,
Fuego.
Just incredible. And I have him on my fantasy roster, and he gave me 26 points, 4 rebounds, 14 assists, 7 3-pointers made. But he went 15 for 15 from the free throw line. I think it's safe to say that I'll win free throw percentage this week, and probably free throws made based on that. You just don't see people making that many free throws with the new rule change. And again, this was the battle at Portland where it was Anfernee Simons who had the last laugh. But that was an incredible game. We had some really spectacular games this week. But he averaged 41 points, 7 rebounds, 14 assists. And he's had double-digit assist games in the last 4 games, 53% from the field, and hitting 4 threes a game. Shout out Trae Young, what you got to say about him?
It's insane how much he's scoring and how much he is dishing out those dimes. I mean, he is on a whole nother level. So he is definitely someone to stream in DFS, as he is this hot. Now, he did miss January 5th's game with back spasms or with like the lower back soreness. So that's something to monitor, but I watched him in last Friday's Laker game. He looked spry, he looked quick, and he followed up that 56-point performance with another cool 25 points and 14 dimes. So, this man is on a mission, and it is just so fun to watch him go, man. He is on fire.
There you have it. Trae Young. We're smiling ear to ear. Make sure you get on top of it. Stay active. Always have a couple of flexible positions. We're always big on that. And at the end, we're a proud member of Fantasy Points Media platform. Please tune into Triple Play Fantasy Podcast every week for baseball, football, and basketball. Triple Play Fantasy YouTube channel is also dropping content every day. This includes Super Fantasy Bros with Jacob and Kevin, Between the Scenes with Marty and Mag, just to name a few. Check us out on Twitter and IG at Triple Play Fantasy. Shout out Doc, Little Cheesecake, Brasher Thomas, and everyone on the Triple Play Fantasy team that keeps this engine growing, especially Doc that just had an interview with Quincy Doobie, former Sacramento King, Rutgers flamethrower from Coney Island. Great interview, great conversations. He's got some interesting international stories as well. Like always, love the game of basketball. Stay safe, wear a mask, and please tell your friends, comment on our video, subscribe. This was a good one.